Hey guys, welcome to Feature Junkie. My name's Ed and thank you guys for joining me today. If this is your first time here, well, welcome. This is Feature Junkie, where we talk all things movies, TV shows, streaming, all that great stuff. And today we're going to be talking about my most anticipated movies and TV shows that are coming out in the month of November. But before we get into that, if you could leave a like down below, I'd greatly appreciate that. Now let's get into the first project. So the first project I want to recognize is Enola Holmes 2, releasing November 4th, directed by Harry Bradbeer, starring Millie Bobby Brown, Henry Cavill, and Helena Bonham Carter. Now a detective for hire, Enola Holmes takes on her first official case to find a missing girl as the sparks of dangerous conspiracies ignite a mystery that requires the help of a friend and Sherlock Holmes himself to unravel. So I'll be honest, I've never actually seen the first Enola Holmes film, but I'm a huge fan of Henry Cavill, a huge fan of Millie Bobby Brown, and I'm really interested in this. And I'll definitely have to check out the first one in the upcoming days to prepare for this next film, because I really think it looks great. Next is Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, releasing November 11th, directed by Ryan Coogler, starring Tenoch Huerta, Angela Bassett, Letitia Wright, and Danai Gurira. Queen Ramonda, Shuri M'Baku, Okoye, and the Dora Milaje fight to protect the Kingdom of Wakanda from intervening world powers in the wake of King T'Challa's death. As the Wakandans strive to embrace their next chapter, the heroes must band together with the help of a war dog, Nakia, and Everett Ross, and forge a new path for their nation. Now, there's no question what Chadwick Boseman meant to all of us and the character of Black Panther. So I'm interested to see how they will address everything going forward. It's a huge undertaking when the star of your film passes away. And it's not just the character I'm talking about the presence of Chadwick Boseman. He was such a big part of the entire Black Panther franchise. So yeah, just the biggest question is what they're going to do going forward. I'm also a huge fan of Namor in the comics, and from what other YouTubers are saying so far that have seen the early premiere and stuff like that, they're doing the character right. This does close out phase 4 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, going into phase 5 with Ant-Man and Quantumania. So yeah, this does sit at the top of my list for sure. Next is The Santa Clauses, which is a Disney Plus series that comes out November 16th, created by Jack Burnett, starring Tim Allen, Ashian Rowan, and Elizabeth Mitchell. Scott Calvin is about to turn 65, and realizing that he can't be Santa forever, he sets out to find a suitable replacement as Santa, while preparing his family for a new adventure in a life south of the pole. Alright, I love the first film. It was such a big part of my childhood. The second film as well, I really enjoyed, but after that, it started to feel a little bit stale, and they took a break, and now they're finally back with this whole series. I'll be honest, I wasn't really looking forward to this at all, but to hear that it's a Disney Plus series, that's a TV show rather than a movie, it definitely does intrigue me, mainly because I want to see what that entails with it being a TV show series where you have a longer period to really invest into the characters. I love Tim Allen and Elizabeth Mitchell. I love the trailer, it looks great, and I'm in the holiday spirit, so I'll be checking this one out for sure. Next is Poker Face, releasing November 16th, directed by Russell Crowe, starring Russell Crowe, Eliza Pataki, and Liam Hemsworth. A tech billionaire hosts a high-stake poker game between friends, but the evening takes a turn when long-held secrets are revealed, an elaborate revenge plot unfolds, and thieves break in. Alright, so this one I'm not really sure about, to be honest. I love Russell Crowe and all the stuff that he's doing. These type of movies I'm not really the biggest fan of. I can see that there is some type of high stakes situation that occurs because of this poker game, but that's really all the trailer really shows, and they don't really go into detail of what the movie's about. So there's a ton of questions with this film that have to get unraveled, but I've actually never seen a movie directed by Russell Crowe as well, so that's a little bit intriguing to me. Next is The Menu, coming out November 18th, directed by Mark Mylod, starring Anna Taylor-Joy, Ralph Fiennes, and Nicholas Hoult. A young couple travel to a remote island to eat at an exclusive restaurant where the chef has prepared a lavish meal. Alright, this one definitely has to be my wife's most anticipated film of November. The trailer comes on every single time we're at the theater, and every single time we're like, yeah, this one looks interesting. So This seems like there's a ton of thrills, a ton of suspense, while also intertwining some humor in this as well. So again, I'm ready to see this one, and I can't wait for the 18th when this one comes out. We're almost done the list, and next is Disenchantment, coming out November 18th, directed by Adam Shankman, starring Amy Adams, James Marsden, and Patrick Dempsey. 10 years after their happily ever after, Giselle questions her happiness, inadvertently turning the lives of those in the real world and Alasia upside down in the process. So with their first film, they did a lot of cool effects with bringing the cartoon world into the real world, and it looks like they're setting out to do the exact same thing. And I will say, although this looks appealing, I do think this sequel is probably 5 years too late. But as some say, better late than never. I'm also a huge fan of musicals, and I can enjoy this at the comfort of my home, watching this on Disney+. So this is also going to be on my list to watch as well. Next, we have Wednesday, premiering November 23rd, directed by Tim Burton, starring Jenna Ortega, Gwendoline Christie, and Ricky Lindenholm. This series follows Wednesday Addams' year as a student when she attempts to master her emerging psychic ability, thwart and solve the mystery that embroiled her parents. So we did a trailer reaction video to this a while back, and you guys had a really good response to it, and that's because the trailer looked really good. I was kind of surprised, honestly, that this series didn't come out before Halloween, because I feel like that would have been just a perfect tie-in with, you know, the horror elements of stuff. But yeah, it's coming out basically Thanksgiving time. Regardless, I'm really excited for the series. You know, you have Tim Burton, and you know he's going to put his spin on the series as he always does with all his projects. And as I said in the trailer reaction, I'm definitely going to make a video with this series and my thoughts on this. Next is Devotion, coming out November 23rd, directed by J.D. Dillard, starring Jonathan Majors, Glenn Powell, and Serena Deswan. A pair of U.S. Navy fighter pilots risk their lives during the Korean War and become some of the Navy's most celebrated wingmen. This is the movie right here. I was so impressed what Top Gun Maverick did earlier this year, and there's some clear comparisons that can be drawn with the aerial aspects of this film, the camera shots that were made. You have some of the dilemmas that they're going to be facing are kind of the same in Top Gun Maverick, and you're even bringing back Glenn Powell's, which is great. However, this is set decades way before, you know, Top Gun Maverick doing their thing in the Korean War. So you're focusing more on, you know, the technology aspect of what they have to deal with. You're focusing more on the skills of going against the Koreans during the Korean War. Also, shout out to Jonathan Majors. The man is absolutely killing it in everything he's doing right now, and I'm so happy that people are actually seeing his acting chops. This is also pretty random as well, but he reminds me a lot of John Boyega, which they're both phenomenal actors, so that's really a compliment for both of those guys. Next is the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special, coming out November 25th, directed by James Gunn, starring Chris Pratt, Dave Bautista, and Pom Klementieff. Star-Lord, Drax, Rocket, Mantis, and Groot engage in some spirited shenanigans in an all-new original special created for Disney+. I really wanted to include this one on the list because who doesn't love the Guardians of the Galaxy? The trailer looks so funny. I love the chemistry between, you know, Drax and Mantis. And I would even draw some comparisons to Elf, where, you know, they're going to America for the first time. They're going on some Christmas shenanigans, experiencing things for the first time and really showing the spirit of Christmas. And I think it's kind of funny that James Gunn directed this, as he is the new DC Studios CEO. He's a great director and he has a creative mind, which I'm excited to see what he does with the DC Studios. However, focusing on this holiday special, it looks fantastic, and I can't wait to see if this actually ties into Guardians of the Galaxy 3, or is this just a one-off? Who knows, but let's wait and see. And finally, the last project I want to mention in November is Willow, coming out November 30th, directed by Jonathan Kasdan, starring Warwick Davis, Ruby Cruz, and Erwin Kellerman. An unlikely group of heroes sets out to a dangerous quest to places far beyond their home, where they must face their inner demons and come together to save the world. So Willow functions as a sequel to the original and takes place years later, introducing new characters into this fantasy world. I'll be honest, I have no idea what this show's even about or the original, and this does feel like a huge departure from what Lucasfilms usually does, which we all know that's the Star Wars universe. But this show feels like it taps into more of the fantasy magical aspects of things. I'm pretty sure I'll check it out, but this one really isn't high on my list. But that's all the projects I had listed for the month of November. Are there any that interest you, or did I leave some off the list? Whatever it is, leave those thoughts in the comments down below. And if you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe, hit that notification icon down below so you know when I'm going live or dropping new content. And I want to thank you guys so much for joining me here today on Feature Junkie.